Thanks so much for joining us here on News 12 Brooklyn. I'm Jessica Cunnington, and police right now searching for 3 men wanted for questioning in the deadly shooting of a 20-year-old man on Franklin Avenue. Police released this video on Monday of the 3 men they're searching for. One suspect is seen there riding the bike. The other 2 suspects walking on the right. One of them was wearing a blue jacket and the other a dark hoodie. Officials say 20-year-old Donovan Frazier of Crown Heights was found shot multiple times right in front of a bodega at 790 Franklin Avenue. Police say Frazier was taken to Kings County Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. That victim's mother speaking exclusively to News 12, telling us more about her son.
He's been a great kid since he was born. He just graduated from high school, looking to go away to college. He was a funny kid, liked to joke around, loving kid. I just want whoever did this for them to catch them and bring them to justice. It was senseless, and these youth need to stop. They need to stop with this gun violence.
Friends and family of Frazier say he was a musician with goals, again, to head to college down in South Carolina. You see the big memorial set up there for him. All right, let's get to our hyperlocal forecast now on the 2s. Starting off the week.
Not that great.
Yeah.
No comparison whatsoever to the weekend. And listen, it's been fairly quiet around here. As we go through Tuesday and Wednesday, things are going to become somewhat active. We've got a mostly cloudy sky for the borough and the tri-state area. We're looking at Jose. Now, Jose is a hurricane, and take a look at the track of Jose as we go through the next couple of days, continuing to push towards the north. The light white area, if you will, that's a cone of uncertainty. You can see we're safe from that. So this is definitely not going to be a direct hit, but the system will continue to lose intensity as it pushes northward, and once it gets up towards New England, just going to be a tropical storm. So what we'll be watching out for as we go through the next couple of days primarily is just coastal issues. Ocean swells anywhere from 12 to 13 feet, coastal flooding Tuesday into Wednesday, especially during the times of high tide. We're looking at beach erosion and dangerous rip currents. This is not going to be a good time to be going and hanging out on the beach. If you do, make sure you're staying away from the water. We're looking at temperatures dropping into the mid and upper 60s as we go through the overnight. Going to hold on to the cloudy conditions, maybe a spotty shower or 2, maybe just some light rain and or drizzle, and then the winds begin to pick up as we get into our Tuesday. We'll be looking at winds gusting anywhere from 40 to maybe 45 miles per hour, and we'll have periods of rain. That rain will be wind driven. We'll talk about Maria in less than 10 minutes. You're watching News 12.
Daryl, thank you so much. Well, in other crime news here on News 12 Brooklyn, police need your help looking for 2 people connected to a jewelry robbery. Officials say this happened last Friday at the 21 Tara store at 388 Myrtle Avenue. Police say while one suspect distracted the store clerk, the second suspect took jewelry from a display. And over in East New York, police say people just went into an auto parts store on Elton Street. You're looking at surveillance video here of who police are looking for. Police say they went into that store and took off with an employee's wallet. Next, police say that pair went to a 99-cent store right nearby on Linden Boulevard and made some purchases on that victim's credit card. Those purchases totaling up to $321. Police say the man was last seen wearing a dark hat with a pink t-shirt there, and the woman was last seen wearing that dark baseball cap. Anyone with information that could help police in any of these crimes that we just told you about, call the Crime Stoppers hotline at 1-800-577-TIPS. You could call, you could stay anonymous. Spanish speakers can call 1-888-57-PISTA. Around the city now, officials are now saying that the tour bus driver killed in the bus collision in Queens on Monday had been fired as a city bus driver years ago. A spokesman for the MTA says 49-year-old Raymond Mung was fired from the Transit Authority back in 2015 before he went to work for the Dahlia charter bus company. 2 others were also killed when the Q20 bus collided with that tour bus in Flushing early on Monday morning on Main Street. Those victims are identified as 62-year-old Henry Wadowiak and a passenger from the MTA bus identified as 55-year-old Gregory Legifors. Officials are investigating reports that that charter bus had run a red light. At least 16 others were injured, though, some of them seriously injured. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating the crash. Well, starting Wednesday at sunset, Jews across the world will reflect on the beginning of the Jewish New Year, and it's all typically spent with loved ones, but not everyone can afford to buy food for Rosh Hashanah, and that's where the Be Proud Foundation steps on in. The nonprofit organization handed out gift baskets and bags of kosher food for Rosh Hashanah. The Be Proud Foundation says their goal is to reach out to the most vulnerable people in neighborhoods like Sheepshead Bay, helping them to celebrate the Jewish New Year with their family. Those bags were filled with bread, beets, dates, also honey and other sweets too.
You know, the need in the community is that there are a lot of elderly citizens, Holocaust victims, retired Russian military, and just seniors in general that are alone in the world. And the Be Proud Foundation reaches out to them to make it a little bit better on their holidays.
The Be Proud Foundation says they'll also go door to door to hand out food to other seniors as well. Well, smart gun design by two NYU students might soon make it to the market after they won a competition organized by the borough president. Borough President Eric Adams introduced the smart gun design competition last year to prevent people from accidentally discharging a firearm as part of an ongoing effort to fight gun violence here in our borough. Now, two NYU graduate students winning $1 million for their design, which is a holster with some high-tech upgrades on it, a fingerprint scanner, voice control, and a mechanical locking system, battling some stiff competition from 4 other finalist teams.
I don't think we made this faster. I don't think we made it slower. I think we just made it safer.
In the last 50 years, guns have killed more people than all of the U.S. wars combined. So we're really trying to take a bite out of something that impacts the lives of Americans in a very real way.
Those students hope to use the prize money to make their design a reality. Wow. You're watching News 12 Brooklyn. We're as local news gets. And still ahead here, an NYPD officer on the other side of the law here turning himself in to face assault charges, accused of beating a man in Coney Island over a spilled drink. We're going to have that and more when we come back. Welcome back to News 12 Brooklyn. Months after police fatally shot an emotionally disturbed man inside of a Flatbush Gardens apartment, neighbors are still struggling with his death and their own safety. News 12 Brooklyn reporter Tori Singer explains from East Flatbush.
You go to sleep, you don't know what's next.
Following the fatal police shooting of Dwayne June back on July 31st, the death has left a scar behind in the community and a physical hole for June's neighbors.
I can't bear to see the hole there. That's why I put the tape over it.
Charmaine Gooden lives in the quiet apartment with her 14-year-old daughter, Lasanti, who was the only one home inside when the shots were fired next door. The family of Dwayne June called police when their emotionally disturbed son needed help. Police shot and killed the 32-year-old after they claim he threatened officers. Now, the family says while they're thankful they're both safe, the hole haunts them. In the weeks since the shooting, they say management hasn't fixed the wall and police haven't checked in.
As a landlord, you should care about your tenants. You should care about their well-being. You should care about, what's going on.
NYPD officers tell us the investigation into June's death is ongoing, but these neighbors say they deserve better.
These are police officers, and their bullet came in my ward, came in my apartment. I think someone should have reached out to us.
For now, they live in fear, waiting for the hole to get filled and the memory to fade.
I always imagined if a bullet ever came through our apartment, it would be because of someone outside in an argument with someone else. I never thought it would be like a police officer right next door.
In East Flatbush, Tori Singer, News 12, Brooklyn.
Tori, thank you. And we did reach out to Flatbush Gardens management about this. We have not heard back yet. Let's get back now to the Weather Center to talk weather on the twos and tropics.
Well, we know about Jose.
Yeah.
We'll be dealing with that for Tuesday as well as Wednesday. We're talking really wind-driven rain. We're not going to get the brunt of Jose. So just add additional time for your commuting for Tuesday as well as Wednesday. Let's focus in on Maria. Now, this is a bigger issue, a very well-defined eye. You can point it out right about here. It's a Category 5 hurricane. They don't get too much stronger than this. And we'll see it continue to push towards a west-northwesterly direction, losing some of its intensity. I'm a little concerned about Puerto Rico. Wednesday at around 2 a.m., 160-mile-an-hour sustained winds in that area. And it looks like it will be making some damage along the way there across the island and even towards the Turks and Caicos Island before it continues to lose intensity and heads towards the south and east. Now, this is not until Saturday, so we'll be watching out for this. It could be a lot of changes between now and then, especially the further we are out. Some of the concerns that we have: potential hazard storm surge 6 to 9 feet for the Leeward Islands, as well as the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, as well as Puerto Rico. We're also looking at rainfall amounts. We're looking at torrential rains, 10 to 20-inch rains, isolated amounts of 25 inches for central and southern Leeward Islands, also the U.S. Virgin Islands, as well as the British Virgin Islands, and of course, once again, Puerto Rico. So a lot of wind, a lot of rain. You know, some of these locations have already gotten battered by the previous storm, Irma. 67 degrees, mostly cloudy, a spotty shower or two as we go through the overnight. 73 degrees, wind-driven rain as we go through a large chunk of our Tuesday. Tuesday night, more wind and rain, 67 degrees. You're watching News 12.
Daryl, thank you. Well, NYPD officer O'Keefe Thompson was arraigned and charged Monday morning after turning himself in for allegedly assaulting a 23-year-old back in July. And he's being suspended without pay after 3 years with the NYPD. News 12 Brooklyn's Emily Lorsch tells us how Raymond Crespo is feeling now that this officer has been charged.
There's a lot of people that intimidate me now, but I stay home to myself, and I've been staying home ever since this happened because to me, I'm in fear, and I'm not in fear at the same time because I don't know what his intentions was.
On July 8th, 23-year-old Raymond Crespo says he was brutally attacked by 30-year-old Officer O'Keefe Thompson after he refused to pick up a cup of ice that one of his friends knocked out of his hand.
This is an officer that came out his way and just turned into something. I don't know, something was wrong with the guy.
This is what he says he looked like after the incident, with a bruised eye and suffering from a concussion.
I'm astounded at this whole fact that how this happened to me.
Now he's glad to see the officer turn himself in and be charged with assault and intimidation of a witness, but says this fight isn't over.
We want this officer to be held accountable and face some jail time. We're tired of officers getting arrested, and that's all they do is get arrested, but nothing else happens.
I just want justice, and I don't want this to happen to nobody else, because unfortunately there's a lot of people that died for cases like this, and I'm lucky to be alive.
While he turned himself in, Thompson is denying these charges and pleading not guilty. The judge has issued an order of protection against him, and he's expected to be back in court on November 29th. In downtown Brooklyn, Emily Lorsch, News 12 Brooklyn.
Emily, thank you. And the NYPD is confirming details but not commenting on this case. We've also reached out to the police union for a comment, have not yet received a response. But a lot of you were talking about this case over on our Facebook page. And if you haven't yet, obviously, we always want to hear your thoughts, always want to hear your opinions. So go over to Facebook, search for News 12 Brooklyn, and leave us your comment there. Well, Brooklyn District Attorney celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month on Monday. District Attorney Eric Gonzalez honoring Congressman Adriano Espaillat of the 13th Congressional District at the Brooklyn Law School at 205 State Street. The event is part of the DA's annual celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month.
We come from all different parts of Latin America, the Caribbean. So today we're here just celebrating all of our cultures and making sure that everyone has a voice.
Well, every day should be a Hispanic Heritage Day, but we pick a month, and this month I think that we show the rest of the world all the things that we bring forward.
You're watching News 12 Brooklyn. I'm Jessica Cunnington. Coming up here on News 12, another check your hyperlocal weather forecast on the 2s, and of course details on the next hurricane, Maria. Stay with us.
Sheepshead Bay. You're watching News 12 Brooklyn, as local news gets. It's time to let your local news find you. Sign up for News 12 alerts with the News 12 app. When you get an alert, click on it to see the full story, or head over to Channel 12 for the in-depth local news coverage that matters to you. One click here, or here, or here. Keeps you connected 24 hours a day. Download the News 12 app today. News 12, as local news gets. Get your top stories at news12.com in an instant with a click of the News 12 playlist. Get special features, exclusive stories, and award-winning reporting. Scroll through the stories that matter to you, or let the top stories of the day play for you. Plus, sign up for breaking news alerts. It's your local news, traffic, and weather. Exclusively for News 12 viewers. Stay informed, stay connected, stay with news12.com, as local news gets. It's time to let your local news find you. Sign up for News 12 alerts with the News 12 app. When you get an alert, click on it to see the full story, or head over to Channel 12 for the in-depth local news coverage that matters to you. One click here, or here, or here. Keeps you connected 24 hours a day. Download the News 12 app today. News 12, as local news gets. Get your top stories at news12.com in an instant with a click of the News 12 playlist. Get special features, exclusive stories, and award-winning reporting. Scroll through the stories that matter to you, or let the top stories of the day play for you. Plus, sign up for breaking news alerts. It's your local news, traffic, and weather. Exclusively for News 12 viewers. Stay informed, stay connected, stay with news12.com, as local news gets. It's time to let your local news find you. Sign up for News 12 alerts with the News 12 app. When you get an alert, click on it to see the full story. Keeps you connected 24 hours a day. Download the News 12 app today, as local news gets.
Welcome back. City officials are urging New Yorkers to revisit emergency protocols with Hurricane Jose lurking in the Atlantic. The Emergency Management Commissioner advises everyone to have their own individualized go bag ready to go. It should be packed with personal items like any medication, life essential tools like flashlights. And people down in the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico bracing for the upcoming weather conditions as Hurricane Maria nears. The islands of St. Lucia, St. Kitts, Montserrat, and Martinique are all among the islands under hurricane warning right now, bracing and getting ready for what's about to hit. So much we're watching down there.
Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden getting very, very busy, you know. And
in a row.
The bad thing about it is some of the tracks that we're looking at are reminiscent to the tracks of Irma. So some of the same places are going to get hit a second time within a 2-week period. All right, keep the spirits up. And the previous package that Jessica was talking about, make sure you have a go bag. And you probably won't have to do much evacuating with this storm, but you run the risk, let's say, of losing electricity. We'll take a look at the winds gusts that's forecasted momentarily. Right now we're looking at the futurecast. Maybe a spotty shower or two, light rain as we go through parts of the overnight. As we get into the late morning, early afternoon for Tuesday, the rain begins. Now these are bands associated with Jose that will continue to move across the borough and the entire city. So just keep that in mind. Periods of rain will be heavy at times. And we'll see the wind forecast, the gusts. You'll see we'll be looking at wind-driven conditions. Now it looks like as if the rain will be ending a little earlier than previously forecasted, which is a good thing. The winds are going to be sticking around for a while, though. We're looking at winds as we get into Tuesday afternoon between 40 and 45 miles per hour. And we hold on to those very active winds through early part of Wednesday. Late Wednesday into Thursday, that's when the winds really begin to die off just a bit. So here's Jose making a run up the coast there, far enough away way where we're not going to get a direct hit, more of a glancing blow. Our cold front, that's going to help to deflect our system out just towards the east, just a little bit more to help get it out of here, but it's going to be more of an issue for the folks in New England. 67 degrees, a mostly cloudy sky, chance of a passing shower or two as we go through the overnight. East to northeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour, 67 degrees for the overnight low. Wind and rain, gusty winds at times in the forecast, 73 for a high. Northeast to north winds, look at that, 20 to 30 miles per hour. And again, we're looking at gusts, 40, maybe 45 miles per hour. So please be careful, and you may be losing some power in some locations. The wind and rain continues. We lose the rain, we get more of the winds out there for Wednesday, and then it begins to dry out and become a bit more comfortable. First day of fall is Friday, high of 79 degrees, and look at that, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, low and middle 80s.
Daryl, thank you so much. Cannot believe fall is coming.
I know. And I mean, of course, means the baseball playoffs are right on the way.
Def.
Yankees
Can't wait.
probably going to be a part of it anyway. I mean, in 2 weeks, Yankees likely will be opening the baseball playoffs in the American League wild card game if they don't win the division. And there's a good chance they'll be facing Minnesota, the Twins in town, for a possible playoff preview. First inning this game, Aaron Judge at the plate. Been having a back and forth month. This one, though, not coming back. All rise. Judge bangs the gavel for his 44th home run and a 1-0 Yankee lead. That takes us all the way to the 6th inning when the game is all tied up. Todd Frazier, with the bases loaded, gets just enough of this one. Chase Headley at third base, not the fastest runner in the world, but he's just fast enough to score the run here and go up 2-1. 9th inning, Aroldis Chapman bailed him out in the 8th inning. Does it in the 9th. Big strikeout. Yankees get the win. Beat the Twins 2-1. Cal Ripken Jr., you know him, may have the most famous record in all of sports. From May of 1982 to September of 1998, he did not miss a game, not a single one. 16 and a half seasons. And we caught up with him up in the Bronx. On Monday, the Cal Ripken Sr. Foundation, named after his dad, the former Orioles manager, was volunteering at the Bronx Academy of Letters, providing the school with a new garden and fitness center. Of course, we had to ask him about that streak of 2,632 consecutive games. The current active leader is the Kansas City Royals' Alcides Escobar, who entered Monday with just 319 consecutive games played. So he's got a ways to go. It's seeming more and more likely that Ripken's mark never going to be touched.
It doesn't seem that way to me, because if I could do it, then certainly somebody else can. That's sort of my feeling. But maybe a different opinion comes out, that maybe an everyday player is not 162, maybe it's 150. And I think that's all right for the sport as well. But I still value the importance of showing up every single day and trying to meet that challenge of today as a group.
A true gamer. Meanwhile, hooray, preseason hockey's here. Rangers hosting the Islanders. Get pumped up, Jess. Anybody, please. No score in overtime. Neil Pionk moves in, puts the biscuit in the basket for the game winner. That's my first biscuit in the basket of the season. I will work on it before the games count. I promise I'll get into regular season form. Rangers beat the Isles in overtime, 1-0. I mean, what? What do you want me to tell you?
You got to work on it, though.
And they got to work on it. We all got to work on it.
That's true.
I'm not ready for hockey season. Football season kind of